So
Good
beautiful.
photographer.
Very. That's okay. It having reached the hour of 5:30, I am calling the December 7th, 2021 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Cannery?
Here.
Councilmember Wright?
Here.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton?
Here.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Here.
Councilmember Ricky?
Here.
Councilmember Zalaki? Here. Mayor Zawalin?
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Jeremiah Williams from the Revival Center. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful city we call Modesto. Truly, we have been blessed by your graciousness and allowing us to get along as much as we have. We pray even now, Lord, for all of our council members, all of their staff, all of the departments, all of the department heads, each and every part of the city. We pray for our schools. We pray for our educational system. We pray for everything that would help us to be a better place. Lord, we thank you that we welcome you into this city and we welcome you into this chamber. And we also pray, God, that your will would be done. We also pray, Lord, for the health of each and every one of our members, the city council members, and that you would continue to give them wisdom, understanding, that you would continue to allow the passion that they have for this city to grow stronger and stronger as the days go by. In your name we pray, and let everybody say amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Item 15 has been removed from the agenda.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflicts of interest? I do not see any hands raised in person or online. Thank you. Will the city attorney report out on closed session?
Yes, Mayor. Sorry, figuring out the mute button. The council met under closed session today to deal with issue regarding evaluations. No reportable action was taken.
Thank you. Next, we will go on to acknowledgements and presentations. Item 1, voter education presentation, and we would like to welcome our county clerk recorder, Donna Linder. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Donna Linder, County Clerk Recorder, Registrar of Voters. And I just wanted to come in and make you aware that we are going to be doing some voter education workshops and kind of get the word out as to what those are and what we'll want to talk to people about. So we will be out there to answer questions about voting and elections, about our office. We get the question all the time, is this a full-time job? So we want to tell people, what do we do? What actually happens there? How to register to vote, what are the requirements, where can you find a registration, how to cast a ballot. You know, if it says vote for one, you vote for one. If it says vote for two, what are your options? Current election laws, there's been some new laws that have changed things. California will be all vote by mail, so we want to kind of go over those laws and what that means in Stanislaus County. Future of elections, what are your options here? What are we going to do in our office to make voting convenient for our citizens? And then what happens to your vote by mail ballot once it comes to our office? What do we do with it? What's our process to make this a secure and private vote for you? What is Canvass? What are we doing those 30 days after the election? You know, explaining what we do during Canvass, and then all the security features that we have put in place over the past year to make your vote secure and safe in Stanislaus County. And then we have opportunities to be involved in this process. So our voter workshops are, we have one in each city because we want to try to get out to all of our voters. And in Modesto, it'll be on January 9th at the Veterans Center. And that's actually 19th, sorry. And then you can see all the other cities up there. And a citizen can go to any city. They don't have to just go to the city that they live in. If another date works for you, that's great. Come on to that one because voting's the same everywhere. And then we are always looking for part-time seasonal employees. They start at $16.62 an hour. They are part-time. We do extensive training. They are taught how to assist voters at the vote centers on laptops, check them in, provide service in person and over the phone, and then set up all the equipment and assist voters during election time. They also work in the office, work during canvass and that type of thing. So it's very seasonal, usually about 2-3 months around an election, then some time off, and then another 2-3 months. We also still have volunteer positions. Those work directly during the election. They are paid a stipend of $95, and they greet voters at the vote centers and just kind of do crowd control, get people to where they need to go to register, check in, whatever they need. They do help with the setting up of the equipment, ensure that things are running smooth. And we do now curbside ballot drop-offs, so they do work at those locations also. All these applications can be found at our website, standvote.com. That is the end.
All right.
Quick.
I'm going to open it up for questions from council members and then to the public and then for comments from the council. Are there any council members that have questions at this time? I had 2 questions. What is the age limit, since we have a lot of young people here tonight, the age requirement for seasonal workers and for volunteer workers?
So for seasonal workers, it's 18. But for volunteers, we do work with the high schools, so they can be 16 and up.
All right. And you said it was $16.62 per hour for seasonal employees?
For seasonal.
And $95 per day for the volunteer workers classification?
Correct. And the seasonal, we work around college schedules, things like that.
All right. Thank you. Any comments from the public regarding this item? Seeing none, any comments from council members? All right, I again have a comment. My understanding is that our county received some noteworthiness that we were one of the top most secure elections in the state of California at the last election. So I'm very proud of that, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for taking your time to educate all of us and all of our residents about how important voting is.
Thank you. There is a flyer as you come in and with your city clerk that has all the dates on it. So if, and you all have one. So if you know of anybody who's interested, just go ahead and let them know. Like I said, any city they can come to.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we will go to item number 2, Youth Commission update, and Ashley Weaver will be presenting. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm honored to be here tonight to announce the return of the City of Modesto Youth Commission and Advisory Board. The Youth Commission was established in 1987 with the purpose of providing youth the opportunity to participate in the governmental process and to act as liaisons between the youth of Modesto and the City Council. Unfortunately, the program was impacted by the recession and dormant for more than a decade. In 2020, local students engaged their peers and identified in the need to restore the Youth Commission. Throughout 2021, these students have worked closely with Mayor Zwalen, Vice Mayor Astudia-Brayton, and staff to see their goals come to fruition. With a rebuilding goal in place, the next steps were to begin the process to reestablish the Youth Commission. Staff organized 2 roundtable meetings to discuss with students their vision for a new and revised Youth Commission. Both meetings provided great feedback and insights from the students and resulted in the formation of the advisory board. So all engaged students have the opportunity to participate in the next steps. Some identified goals and objectives for the remainder of the school year are: the advisory board will work to revise and update the bylaws and application process, set goals and program objectives for the Youth Commission and Advisory Board, and ultimately begin the application process for the 2022-23 school year. This advisory board will work the rest of this school year to lay the foundation for next year's Youth Commission to hit the ground running and for years to come. In recognition of their efforts, I'm pleased to introduce the students serving as the advisory board for the reestablishment of the Youth Commission. All right, bear with me while I introduce them, please. So behind us, we have Rana Banaka, Nithya Midam.
Why don't, as you,
Actually, yes,
yeah,
I'd
each
love
one
for
of
you
you
guys-
come forward
Thank
because
you.
we may have some questions for
I'm
you
actually
too.
going to ask you guys to stand up right now as I say your name.
Okay.
And then, so Rana Banaka, Nithya Madam, Irene Alvarez, Tobert Boy, Calvin Cullen, Michael Ballarit, Ahaley Patel, and Sethian Perez. So thank you guys for your efforts and welcome. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Rana to come up. She has a few words to say.
Welcome, Rana.
Right. Okay. First and foremost, I want to thank the council for the opportunity to speak, and I want to thank the City of Modesto for recognizing student voice and empowering young people to advocate for themselves and their peers through the Modesto Youth Commission. Just to give you some background as to how this all started, last year, Nithya and I found out about what youth commissions were after we talked to student leaders from all across the state. And through just a little bit of Googling, we discovered that Modesto's Youth Commission had been cut due to budget cuts during the 2008 recession. And so when we looked at our community, we looked at our peers, our classmates, we noticed 2 things. First, young people have a lot to say. We have a lot of opinions. And second, we want to use our perspectives to create change in our community and to solve some of the issues that we see affecting ourselves and our peers in the city of Modesto. And so because of that, we decided that we would start advocating for this commission to be brought back to the city of Modesto. And so it's been about a year since we started. We, of course, got a group of students from all across the city of Modesto to help make sure that we're being representative and we have the voices of the youth of our city involved in this process. And now I'm really proud to say that just about 1 year after we started advocating for this, we can finally say that the Modesto Youth Commission is up and running again. I really think that the benefits of this commission are twofold. First, it empowers young people to have a voice that is officially recognized by the city and to use their perspective to create positive change in the community. And second, I would argue that it helps the city council. You see, about 25% of the population of Modesto is under the age of 18. That's about a quarter of your constituency that you're missing a clear voice from. And so moving forward in the future, I would strongly recommend to every city council member here, even you, Mayor Zwollen, to reach out to the Youth Commission if you're ever deliberating on any policies or issues that will heavily affect youth, because we would love to share our perspectives. With all that being said, I again want to thank the City of Modesto for this opportunity and for being so supportive of us throughout this entire process. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. We wanted to do a photo op. Mayor, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yes, I just wanted to make a comment, but first of all, I wanted to see if there's any questions from council members regarding this item.
I have a comment, Mayor, when it's appropriate.
Okay, so no questions from council members, and do we have any comments from the public regarding this? Councilmember Madrigal.
Just wanted to congratulate the youth commissioners for getting this up and running and for pushing for the jumpstart, revitalization of the youth commission. We need to hear from you, and I encourage you to, I don't know how busy you are, I'm assuming you guys are all very busy, but I encourage you guys to come and give us the youth commission report every week, whether you're scheduled on the agenda like you are today, or come during public comment. Let us know what you're up to. Okay, go for it.
Thank you. All
And
right.
Come back, oh, by the way, come back and run for council or mayor one day.
Yes. Any comments from council members? Councilmember Madrigal.
Ricky.
Or excuse me, Ricky.
I just wanted to thank you guys for your service on this commission. And I want to reiterate what Tony said. He stole all my thunder, but you guys don't have to be on a commission to talk to us. You guys can drive projects anytime you want. You can come speak at council anytime you want. You can, it's your job, partially, our job too as representatives, but also your job's to advocate for yourselves, right? So like, we may not know, we may not be able to anticipate what you guys need, right? And so I just really, like Tony said, I just urge you guys to come and talk to us. We're here to help you guys. We're here to serve the whole community, youth, and everybody else also. But we're here for you, and we're here to listen. So come and talk to us. Don't be strangers.
All right. At this time, I'm going to go back to the public. I see a hand raised on Zoom. So Ramon Rodriguez.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I would like to say I support the youth commission because yesterday I was in the Merced City Council meeting, and I saw a lot of youth voicing their voice to demand change for their city, and I see youth voices in action, and this is a perfect opportunity to reach out to the youth because the youth are key to our future, and I urge all of you to support the youth, listen to them, and take your advice seriously to implement policies that will benefit not just the youth, but for everyone. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comments. Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. I know several months ago I met with a couple of you concerning the Youth Commission and get it going. I'm glad to see that we did get it started again. You are our future leaders, so I want you to take what you're doing very seriously, and I want to make sure all of you stay in Modesto after you graduate and help us make this a better city for everyone. Thank you for participating. I look forward to meeting with you on a regular basis, and you guys are make us all happy up here.
All right. Vice Mayor Scudia Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Is this on? Yeah. Thank you all for being here. You all are so impressive. I look out and I see the diversity and with the gender and the ethnicity and just the thought. And I am just so elated that you are stepping up and want to be part of the process. Rana had indicated that if we have a desire to have you be part of a particular issue that you might weigh into.
There is no issue that we have that doesn't impact you. So I think, like my colleagues have indicated, I encourage you to be part of every public opportunity to have that conversation with us. And I so look forward to hearing your perspective on things. And thank you for stepping up and making this a reality. You have our fullest support.
All right. Councilmember Zalaki.
Thank you, Mayor.
I don't think so. Can you push the mute button?
It's not on mute.
Okay, tap it and see.
Test 1, 2, 1,
There
2.
we
There
go.
it is. Just need, I guess it was sticky. It was nice to see you come down and hear what you had to say. This is exciting. Before I was on the council, I helped form a youth group. At that time, it's called Young Modestans for Jobs. And our focus at that time, or it wasn't mine, I just wanted to be a part of it and help form it, was the economy. And that's so important to all of us, and especially the youth. So if you look back, before I was on the council, it was 9 years ago. So this would have been back in 2011, 10, somewhere a little before that. We were trying to come up with creative ways to show the rest of California where the youth had been leaving because of the lack of good jobs in Modesto at that time. And it was a lot of fun, but it was also work to try to get the message out. And as you go through the issues, if you ever have economic or understanding cost of housing or any of those kinds of things, I do that. I'd love to come and talk and share with you just from my experience and hear what you have to say and what you're thinking. It'd be fun to learn from you. So thanks for coming tonight. Thank you very much.
All right, any other comments from council members? I have a brief comment. For Rana and Nithya, this is something that I think I've talked with you for 3 years about, and here we are tonight. So I'm looking forward to actually hearing some input, hopefully even during this year, of all of your perspectives on policy, even as I know most of your work is going to be in forming the new commission and what it will look like. But several conversations that we had, you'd mentioned that you were interested in helping us set policy for the city. And so I think that's really important. So we hope to hear from you sooner. Someone mentioned that you might be very busy. I think busy doesn't even begin to describe what all of you are doing. The fact that you even have the time tonight to be with us is greatly appreciated. I know that we have our California State Board of Education student representative here tonight. So these young people are already leading in so many ways. And Seth, I know we've talked some prior to this, actually for many years. I feel like I've watched you grow up, and I appreciate your parents being here tonight also and the support that they're showing for you. I prepared just a couple more remarks that you are to be commended for taking the initiative to develop a new youth commission. You will leave an imprint on our community that will have a long-lasting impact. I look forward to watching the commission evolve and also for your input. Thank you so much again, and we want to take a picture with you, so if all the council members would please step down to the front of the podium there. The youth will join us, and we will get a picture.
Don't leave.
Thank you. Bye.
Probably have- All right, next we will go to our miscellaneous appointments. Item 3, consider approving the reappointment of Vince Hansen as the Creekside Golf Club representative and the appointments of Doug Limke and Michelle Buer as members at large to the City of Modesto Golf Courses Advisory Committee from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2025. Do I have any discussion, or can I have a motion? I make a motion to approve. All right.
Second.
All right, so we
I've
have,
got questions, Mayor.
oh, sure, okay, I think I should just go back to my regular process, which is really important. Any questions from council members?
Just on the next 3 items, I know Lori already knows this. I just wanted to get a report on attendance because of our quorum problems with committees.
Quorum problems with what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
With
you.
committees?
Oh, got you, okay.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Lori Smith, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood. Mayor, if you'd like, I know that Councilmember Ricky had questions on the next 3 items and asked about attendance for those being reappointed, and I have that information. I can share it on all 3.
Okay,
All right, so Mr. Vince Hansen, who is a reappointment, was originally appointed in 2018, and he has 100% attendance for the last 3 years. CBB, Thomas Lopes and Tim Fisher, those boards are operated by the CVB. We don't actually operate them, but their bylaws call for the council to make appointments, and they have certain identification criteria that they're appointed in. I only have the last 12 months, and both of them have 100% attendance. And then the final one is the reappointment of Patrick Moynihan to the Culture and Culture Commission. And so for the last 12 months, Mr. Moynihan has attended 93% of the meetings.
excuse me,
But-
which person are you talking about? I don't see that name here.
What I-
It says,
what-
for item 5, it says Patrick Kavanaugh.
I'm sorry, what I said.
Okay, that's all
Moynihan?
right.
I think he's an author. I don't know.
Okay,
Sorry
got
about
it.
that.
That's all right, no problem.
But Councilmember Ricky, you expressed concern about that particular commission having a quorum problem, and that is true. I know that the deputy city managers have recently initiated a project to begin to look at the entire citizen advisory committee process, from the application process to the number of committees, and this will certainly be part of that discussion. But at this time, Mr. Kavanaugh, I'm sorry, has been attending the meetings.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We will go back to item 3 individually. Any more questions from the council? Seeing none, any comments from the public? All right, any comments from the council? I think we already have that. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve
Okay.
item number 3.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Vice Mayor Scudia Brayton. Will the city clerk please read the roll call?
Councilmember Canoyer?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Yes?
Councilmember Scudia Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal? Councilmember Madrigal? Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Zalaki?
Aye.
Mayor Zawalin?
Aye. So it carries 6-0.
Sorry, I don't.
Okay, all right, great. We have a 7-0 vote. Carries unanimously. All right, item 4, consider reappointing Thomas Lopes for a 3rd term and Tim Fisher for a 2nd term to the Modesto Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors from January 1, 2022 to December 31, 2023. Do I have any questions from council members? Seeing none, any comments from the public? No one online or in person. Any comments from council members? I will make one comment to just thank everyone that is willing to serve on these commissions and give of their time to represent our residents and to take the time to get input from our residents and to be willing to put themselves out there to do this. I appreciate each and every one of you. Do I have a motion and a second?
I'd like to make a motion.
Motion from Vice Mayor Scudia-Brayton,
Second.
second from Councilmember Ricky, and will the city clerk please read the roll call?
Councilmember Canoyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Zalaki?
Aye.
Mayor Zwallen?
Aye, so it carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 5, consider reappointing Patrick Kavanaugh to the Culture Commission for a second term from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2025. Do I have any questions from council members? Seeing none, comments from the public? I don't see anyone in person or online. Comments from council members? All right, do I have a motion to consider this item?
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Councilmember Wright. I'll make the second. Can we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Canoyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Zalaki?
Aye.
Mayor Zwallen?
Aye. This carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next, we go to public comment period. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? And this is for items not on the council agenda, and you have 3 minutes to speak. And online, I see Frank Plouffe. Welcome, Frank. Looks like you need to unmute.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and staff. After the last meeting I attended, I noticed that there was a report out on the COVID crisis. That triggered me to think about homeless and housing reporting. And I'd like to see on a regular basis, monthly at a minimum, somebody report out on our progress on homelessness, both in terms of services and housing, which would be a separate report out on housing. How well are we doing in health? How much do we need? What do we have in the queue, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if any of that's underway, if it's done internally and we just don't see it as a public, but I would like to see it out in the public sphere with some. Secondly, I was on the internet this morning reading through stuff like I normally do, and I came across an interesting new movie that's actually out there in virtual reality. And I don't know if anybody there is into the techie stuff like I am, since I retired from that field. But my grandson actually has a virtual reality headset, so I got on the thing and started playing around with it, and it's amazing that you can actually, this particular film was done in Los Angeles, and it was following one person. The name of, Rocky. It's the lady named Rocky. And I also read some of the interviews by some of the people who were promoting it. I just want to read to you a couple of sections, and it might entice your interest to actually see, watch the film. So the first thing, if people take away one thing from We Live Here, it's the name of the film, and what do you, Rose Torshi, the director, hope it would be and why? Her answer was, I hope they realize people experiencing homelessness are not a different species of human being. They are not different from those housed, for in so many there's a shock to finding themselves with no alternative other than to live in a car, park, or street. I want people to know that nobody wants to be homeless. It is not a shirking of responsibility of social norms. It is a failure of our society or our humanity. I want you to spend time with Rocky, with her life, her experiences. I want you to feel the loss of her home, her safety, her dignity, and ask yourself, why do we allow this? This is a crisis that is no way getting better. The pandemic pandemic has assured we will see a surge of homelessness. You have to know that for a single difference in circumstances of benevolence, that could be me, it could be you. The second question, how, if at all, did this project change your own understanding of homelessness? As I said, I learned so much. I've learned to look someone in the eye, to say, hello, how are you? Even if I didn't have a dollar to give, I learned to leave my leftovers. I've learned not to leave my leftovers on a park bench and think I was doing a good thing. I learned people need to have a choice. Now I ask, can I buy you something? And if I'm in a hurry, I give money. I have learned to keep soft first aid kits and power bars in my car and my backpack to give out to someone that's in need. I have learned not to be afraid, not to cross the street to avoid someone who is homeless. I have learned homelessness comes in many different forms, from couch surfing to sleeping hard in the street. I have learned we all need to be more compassionate, that we need to feel heartbroken at what we have allowed to happen. And I've learned we need to fix this. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, I see Richard Anderson.
Oh, hello.
Hello, welcome.
Living in the 95350 area. Council members and mayor, with the closure of the 9-hole municipal golf course, Modesto has an exceptionally rare opportunity to create the community we all want to live in. My wife and her mom loved to golf there, and it's been a dandy little open space since it closed. But you've gotten many different really good ideas how to use this land. Several of the uses mentioned in Kevin Villeen's recent B report can surely be included for this 54-acre piece of land. One nearby owner said a shopping center that had a grocery store and a pharmacy would be good. And some open space should be forever designated. It's also clear to me that much of the land should be used for housing, which Modesto really needs so much. But let's not build the lavish but very profitable two-story single-family homes that are sprouting up in so many parts of Modesto. I'm impressed that the city has created many projects combating homelessness since our 2018 Homeless in Modesto documentary that Frank, the previous speaker, was so much a part of. Our city needs many more affordable duplexes and other homes that blue-collar workers can afford to buy, not rent. Home ownership is vital to a family's ability to accumulate generational wealth that helps all of their descendants. My parents are a good example of that. Poor, but always buying, not renting, for the benefit of the apartment owner. This property is a rare opportunity to build a low barrier shelter for the least wealthy among us as well. As the lady in one recent meeting said, Modesto needs more housing, yes, but she was firm that the golf course is not the answer. Not here, not here. If we always obey this NIMBY anthem, it will always stop the housing so many of our homeless need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, I see Ramon Rodriguez.
Good evening again. I'm here to speak on behalf of Alonso. It's been over a year almost a year that he's been brutally assaulted by 4 Modesto police officers and never been held accountable for their actions. And also, it will be the first Christmas that the Seaver family will celebrate without Trevor. Yeah, Joseph and Latia will celebrate with his family, as well as Alonso's family will not have Alonso celebrating the holidays because he's incarcerated. And I also want to point out that with all the ideas we pose in the new laws that California has, that the officers involved need to be held accountable. We should not allow them to continue on with this, because if they're not being held accountable, they'll continue committing these actions and it'll make Modesto look bad. So please hold these officers accountable for the sake of the public. And also, I've been around all parts of Modesto, and I've seen a lot of homelessness, and it's a growing problem. We need to do something to combat homelessness, like building homes, having like a designated public RV and tent camps for the homeless, so they'll have at least a place with dignity without having to sleep on the streets. And also look for empty areas to build housing. And also that that closed down golf course, on municipal golf course, it needs to be built for affordable housing, because right now the housing crisis is real in California. Working people are struggling, and if they can't find homes that they can afford, they're going to move out of state. This is happening. Here in the Central Valley, a normal house will cost like almost $500,000 for a normal family home, and apartment rents are going up and up. So this is a perfect opportunity for Modesto to build affordable housing, as well as promoting affordable home ownership to meet requirements for the new housing laws that California set aside, and to help the people build more affordable housing, and also help the homelessness, because the homeless needs a lot of help, and they need the dignity, support, and everything. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Pastor Latricia? Looks like your mute button is on.
It off. I apologize. I thought I had clicked it off.
That's all right.
Good evening, Mayor and City Councilmen. I am in agreement with my collaboratives, as in Frank Fluke, Richard Anderson, and our dear Ramon. And housing should be our priority. Housing is much needed. How many times can we say it? I know that you know it. But my question tonight is, City Council, Madam Mayor, are you not looking at Muni as a vital space for housing of our homeless, our unsheltered, our families that are living in their cars around our parks? We need to be talking about housing and housing structures being built. There's prime property here. There is talk of a shopping center. It can be mixed. We can have it all. Why not? Let's come together and build. There's 50 acres. There's enough for it all to happen. There are builders who are sitting on the bank waiting to just say yes, so they can come in, lay out the blueprint, and build homes for our community. That is all I have tonight.
Thank you for your comments. Next, I see Darlene Ruiz.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor. I'm calling on behalf of Justice for Trevor. Next month will be a year since we've lost Trev. Like Ramon said, Joseph Lamantia is free, enjoying the holidays with his family, and my family is completely torn apart. And it's just unfair. All we keep getting is pre-trials, and all they keep doing is prolonging and nothing's happening. I am asking for an independent police auditor for Modesto. I'm asking the Modesto Police Department, if you want to build trust back to our community, why would the silence from every police officer in the city to our family to say, you know what Joseph Lamantia did to your brother or to your son is not okay, and we do not stand by that. But the silence is deafening in this city to my family. I appreciate the City Council. I feel like has supported us and very compassionate, but not the police department. I hope we can rebuild and have a safer community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under public comment tonight? I do not see anyone in person or online. All right, thank you very much. Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Yes, Mayor. Item 6, consider approving the minutes from the November 23rd, 2021 council meeting. Item 7, consider approving the mayor's appointments to the City of Modesto standing committees and city council liaison committees. Item 8, consider approving the recommended budget adjustments to fiscal year 2021-22 annual operating and capital improvement program budgets. Item 9, consider approving a 6th amendment to the agreement with Doken Engineering for the preparation of the plans, specifications, and estimates and right-of-way acquisitions for the State Route 99 Pellendale Avenue Interchange Phase 2 project to increase the existing agreement by $48,906 from $3,550,327 to a total not to exceed amount of $3,599,233, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the 6th Amendment to the agreement. Item 10, consider approving a memorandum of understanding with Stanislaus Regional Transit Authority for a cost-sharing agreement to create a transit-oriented development plan and amending the fiscal year 2021-22 non-capital project 101-352 LEAP 2021 planning grant budget in the amount of $100,000. Item 11, consider accepting an informational report for the October 2021 accounts payable payment register and void report. Item 12, consider accepting the monthly investment report for September 2021. Item 13, consider approving an agreement with Wunderlich Incorporated for a subscription to as-needed pre-employment behavioral assessment services with an expiration date of June 30, 2023, with an annual estimated amount not to exceed $8,400, with a potential extension option and total amount not to exceed $16,800. Item 14, consider approving the award of bid and purchasing agreement with L.N. Curtis from Walnut Creek, California for personal protection equipment for the Modesto Fire Department for a 2-year agreement with 3 one-year extension options for an annual estimated cost of $260,000 and a total cost not to exceed $1,300,000 over 5 years. Item 15 has been removed from the agenda. Item 16, consider approving the award of bid and agreement for slurry oil to VSS Emultech from Modesto, California for a 1-year agreement with 4 one-year extension options for an annual estimated cost of $407,768 and a total amount not to exceed $2,038,840 over 5 years. Item 17, consider approving the award of bid and agreement for slurry rock to West Coast Sand and Gravel from Modesto, California for a 1-year agreement with 4 one-year extension options for an annual estimated cost of $506,473 and a total amount not to exceed $2,532,365 over 5 years. Item 18, consider approving the award of bid and agreement for the purchase of Portland cement concrete to Allied Concrete and Supply Company Incorporated from Modesto, California for a 2-year agreement with 3 one-year extension options for an annual estimated cost of $320,546 and a total cost not to exceed $1,602,730 over 5 years. Item 19, consider approving the plans and specifications for the Transit Center Improvement and Transit Center Addition project and awarding a construction contract with Simile Construction Services Incorporated from Modesto, California in the amount of $5,233,576 plus $418,686 for contingency if needed, for a total not to exceed amount of $5,652,262. Item 20, consider accepting the Bangs Avenue Tully Road Sewer and Water Main Improvements Project is complete, authorizing all necessary steps to file with the county recorder, releasing securities and releasing payments totaling $461,613 to Preston Pipelines Infrastructure Incorporated from Milpitas, California. Item 21, consider accepting the plans and specifications for the high voltage improvements at Sutter Wastewater Treatment Plant project and awarding a construction contract with Clyde G. Stiegel Incorporated of Loomis, California in the amount of $302,500 plus $45,375 for contingency if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $347,875, authorizing an increase in the director's authority from 10% to 15% of the construction contract price of $302,500 to issue change orders and amending the fiscal year 2021-22 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $414,425. Item 22, consider accepting the River Trunk Emergency Repair Project as complete, authorizing all necessary steps to file with the county recorder, releasing securities and releasing payments totaling $197,995 to Rolf Construction Incorporated from Atwater, California. Item 23, consider approving the plans and specifications for the Grayson Well 69, replacing Well 274 project and awarding a construction contract to W.M. Lyles Company from Fresno, California in the amount of $2,683,800 plus $268,380 for contingency if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $2,952,180, authorizing an increase in the director's authority from 8% to 10% to issue change orders and amending the fiscal year 2021-22 capital improvement program budget in the amount of $1,017,828. Item 24, consider approving the plans and specifications for the Tank 5 and 12 recut and repairs project, accepting the bid and awarding a contract with Cal Sierra Construction Incorporated of Carmichael, California in the amount of $1,692,500 plus $423,125 for contingency if needed, for a total amount not to exceed $2,115,625, authorizing an increase in the director's authority from 8% to 25% to issue change orders.
Move to approve all consent items except consent item 15.
Second.
I have a motion and from Councilmember Canoyer, a second from Councilmember Zalaki. Will the city clerk please do the roll call?
Councilmember Canoyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Escudia Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal? Councilmember Madrigal? Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Zalaki?
Aye.
Mayor Zwallen?
Aye. Carries unanimously. Thank you. On to council comments and reports. Do any council members have any comments and reports? Vice Mayor Escudia Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. The subject of housing is very important to all of us and to many people in the public. I just wanted to bring to the attention of all of us the fact that next week the city will be hosting a housing plan open house. It'll be all week. It'll be from 8 to 5 here at City Hall on the 3rd floor. So anyone interested in coming to that open house and connecting with staff, asking questions, providing feedbacks, that's your opportunity to do so. If you want to be abreast of the housing plan, you're also able to sign up for text and email updates and alerts. All this information is on our website and available for you. So I encourage you to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from council members? Councilmember Ricky?
Thank you so much, Mayor. Dumping has been a real ongoing issue here in Modesto. We've spent many years talking about it. We've even created like a blight committee to work on it, which is really cool. But I think it's just time that we take a more aggressive posture on it. And although I know that we can't solve the problem 100%, I think we can reduce it dramatically. First, I think we need to put together more cameras. We need to work with IT to make sure we have enough cameras and that they're put in the right places. We need to work with Public Works. We need to change the policies because their pickup rules are probably one of the main reasons that we have so much dumping. Because really dumping is a symptom of poverty as opposed to just people who like to just throw stuff, you know. that just want to throw stuff away. It costs, hundreds of dollars to dump stuff. So we have to decide what values are, important to us on that. We need to bring back the blight abatement task force. Those guys were like superheroes, and they made such a huge difference. I also I want to talk a little bit about all the progress we're making on homelessness and housing in our community. I'm excited to see the Ranger program come back to council now that it's been approved by committee. I'm also eagerly awaiting safe parking coming back for us to look at. I realize that these programs all have a lot of moving parts, but the problem isn't going away. I really appreciate the staff's dedication to trying to get this stuff done, though. I'm also really excited about the housing projects that we're working on. We need to continue to pursue projects that make it easy for people to own their own homes. What's interesting about owning your own home is once you have a mortgage, you actually end up kind of having, rent control. You pay that same mortgage. If you get a fixed rate mortgage, you pay the same mortgage for the next 20 years. What is that? It kind of ends up acting like rent control. So it's really important. We heard people earlier talking about building wealth. We need to create opportunities for that, and we need to use the tools that we have in government to encourage those kind of developments. Finally, I want to thank Ashley, Tony, and all the rest of their team for just their hard work on the Christmas parade. I've never really been a parade guy, but this parade was like absolutely spectacular. I also want to thank the Modesto Impala Club and Modesto Skates for joining me at the parade. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Madrigal?
Thank you, Mayor. Real quick, wanted to follow up on Councilmember Ricky's comments about illegal dumping and surveillance cameras in particular. I had asked last time at the council meeting if we could get like some kind of report about the status of being able to purchase video surveillance cameras for the hotspots where illegal dumping occurs in the city of Modesto. And just wanted to, again, make that request, if it's possible, to have a report at the next council meeting, briefly letting us know what's the status or how much they cost or what's the timeline to get some more of these cameras installed. And as I said before, I know that we have a blight abatement advisory committee process in place, and I know that process entails getting input from the different commissioners on video surveillance cameras as well. However, my understanding is that process is going to take a bit longer, and we need something in the immediate short term. And so, assuming there's no objection from my colleagues or the mayor, I'd really love to see a report back at the next council meeting or as soon as possible on video surveillance cameras in the illegal dumping hotspots. Last count, I heard there was it 14 or 19 identified illegal dumping hotspots in the city of Modesto, and that's just too many for the cameras that have been installed so far. So I wanted to make that request, and then also wanted to invite the council and the public tomorrow to the 12th annual South Modesto Business United Christmas Posada. It's happening tomorrow, Wednesday, December the 8th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And it's happening at Los Amigos Tire in South Modesto at 1700 Crows Landing Road. The South Modesto Businesses United proudly invite you and your family. Join us for a free cup of hot chocolate for everyone. Every child will receive a free toy, a warm tamale, a sweet Mexican pastry, and every household is going to receive a free food basket. And there will also be lots of fun and pictures with Santa Claus. And this year, as an added bonus, I've been working with the county health department, and there will be on-site COVID vaccinations happening from, I believe it's from 3 to 6. So for a lot of the early folks to get there early, and there usually is a lot of people that get there early. Nearly 1,000 families get served every year at this posada. So this also be an opportunity for folks to get their vaccine if they haven't already. And so invite the mayor and the council. Hope y'all can make it. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for your comments. Any other comments or reports from council members? Oh, Councilmember Canoyer?
I just want to say that this past Saturday, it was so inspirational to see the number of people that came out for the parade. You could tell that they just a bit anxious to be able to be out and about. It was a great parade. It was a little chilly, but I want to thank our city staff for everything that they do. It's a lot of work, and but it was really well worth it. And there were places that the people were 10 deep, so it was amazing. And it's nice to see that Modesto is back doing its normal thing as much as we can.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? I will just add on to the thank you for the parade from everyone that's here tonight. Everyone that's here played a huge role in this, and the organization of that was an example of great work. So I really appreciate everyone.
Making Modesto a great place to be on a Friday night.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate everyone's comments. Next on the agenda is unfinished business. This is item 25. Consider approving the wastewater engineer's report prepared by Corolla Engineers Incorporated as complete. The sewer rate study update prepared by Bartle Wells Associates as complete. Authorizing staff to initiate a Proposition 218 process to adjust the city's sewer rates beginning in fiscal year 2022-23 through fiscal year 2026-27 and forwarding to council for approval. And I will turn this over to Will Wong. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Sorry I'm a little froggy today, getting over a bad cold. But anyway, today we bring forward the proposed wastewater rate recommendations. As you well know, wastewater rates are very important. They cover the cost of service, including capital improvement projects, operations and maintenance, and to meet the city's financial policies. Due to the sensitivity of rates, staff and its consultants, Corolla Engineers and Bartle Wells, spent extra time on rates this year to make sure that we develop fair and equitable rates. Staff did work with their consultants to adjust the capital program. Staff looked at operations and maintenance and future regulatory conditions, and we developed what we think is a fair and equitable rate for our customers. And tonight I have with me, I have Eric Helgeson with Bartle Wells, who will be doing a quick presentation about the wastewater rate recommendations.
All right, welcome.
Good evening, members of the council, mayor, and thank you, Will, and thank you to staff for all the assistance they've done in gathering the data necessary to perform our analysis and come up with our final recommendations. And it's also great to be here in person. It's nice to, some things are changing. Back to normal. I'm sorry. I'm just, there we go. Sorry, thank you. So tonight I'm going to go over a brief overview of the study and our objectives for the study, talk about the recommendations for the municipal and industrial rates, and then our recommendations for the Cannery segregation line rates, and touch on the next steps remaining in the study process. So the overall objectives for the rate study were to have rates that are legally compliant, the rates that are financially sufficient, meaning that the rate revenue is sufficient to be able to fund operations and necessary capital projects, because the wastewater is an enterprise and it's funded solely by the rate revenue and revenues related to its operations, not from general fund money. We also want to make sure that the rates that we recommended were aligned with stakeholder objectives, so the right rates for the city of Modesto, and then that we keep the rate payers in mind as we develop our recommendations. So the rate study process begins with developing the demand data, the financial data, putting it together in financial plans where we develop the overall revenue requirement, and that's the overall 3.5% increase is what we identified the revenue requirement will need to be from the rate revenue. We then allocate that revenue requirement between the classes to make sure it's equitable. Each customer is paying proportional to the service they're going to receive. And we take those class revenue requirements and develop the final rates for each class. And now we're at the end of the study process where we will, where we're presenting our recommendations, and then if approved, there'll be 218 procedure and then rate recommendations. The 218 procedure is a 45-day process where you must send out notices to the ratepayers and property owners, and then they have 45 days to respond. If fewer than a majority of those people who receive the notices respond, if there are fewer than the majority respond and provide a protest, then the council can then go forward and implement the rates. So the objectives of the rate increase, we want to make sure the rates are as low as possible. We'll be able I'm sorry, the rates are as low as possible while the utility is still able to provide excellent service and also maintain a strong financial position, maintain a AA credit rating. And so the key drivers for the rate increase we identified, there are a number of capital projects. They'll be necessary for the wastewater discharge permit requirements. Also, the projects are designed to improve reliability and redundancy. Rates also need to be able to keep pace with the increasing cost of everything, and so to be able to keep up with inflation, rates will also need to increase so that the operations can continue. We also want to make sure that the rate increases are predictable and gradual, so there's no surprises to the customers. So rather than having rate increases remain flat and then spike up, we want to keep them at kind of a smooth, gradual, predictable pace. And finally, we did a new cost of service analysis, so making sure that the rates are proportional between the classes. So for the municipal and industrial customers, sorry, having trouble with the click. There we go. There are some key capital projects that we talked about. Some of those projects are the river trunk realignment, secondary wastewater treatment upgrades, and other reliability projects compose the bulk of the capital projects that we looked at. We looked at 3 different capital scenarios, the most being the full CIP identified by Corolla, and then we worked with city staff to analyze a couple other potential alternatives, and we wanted to make sure that the rate increase we recommended could support all 3 scenarios. And really it just comes down to varying levels of the amount of debt the city would need to issue, but the overall rate recommendation would be able to support the full CIP down to the alternate number 2 that we looked at. So our overall recommendation is to have a 3.5% increases beginning in July of 2022, and just to note that this would mean that there'd be no rate increase in this fiscal year. And we believe that looking at the recent 2021 data, that the city's in a financial position to go ahead with these recommendations and have the first increase in July. And then following that rate increase, there'll be 3.5% increases every year thereafter for the next 5 years. This slide shows the financial plan for the municipal and industrial system for the next 5 years. Each column is the total expenses, and then the green line would be the projected revenues, and the dotted dashed line is the reserve level. And so the financial plan that we developed would be doing some initial cash financing of capital projects. So there'd be an initial drop in reserves, and then the reserves would stabilize throughout the remaining years of the capital plan, of the financial plan. So the proposed rates, I'll touch on the impacts. So the next two slides show the proposed rates. And you'll notice that the first year's rates may be a little different from the 3.5% increases. And that's due to the cost allocation. And I'm going to talk about that in more detail in the bill impacts here. So for single-family residential customers, our recommended rates for July of 2022 would be a total of $43.17, and that would be the monthly account charge plus their monthly sewer fee. And the first year that increase would be about 3.3%. And again, that's due to the updated cost of service allocation we performed, where we looked at how each class was placing demands on the system and reallocated the revenue requirement between the classes to maintain equitability and compliance with Proposition 218. Commercial customers, the first year increases range from 4.3% to 3.3%, depending on the strength category, and for the same reasons I previously mentioned. And then similar result for industrial. There were some of the new capital projects are more BOD and TSS. The costs are more related to BOD and TSS. So industrial got a little bit more of the cost allocation. So in the first year, the average industrial customer will see about a 4.6% increase. So how do the rates compare to neighboring agencies? The 3.5% increase will keep you basically in the same position relative to your neighbors, which is, you're at the kind of lower end of average, which is a good place to be. You're competitive, but you're maintaining you have an excellently maintained system, and you're staying on top of your capital program. So on to the Cannery segregation line. Sorry. Oh, cool, thank you. We looked at the 10-year identified capital projects for the next 10 years, and it's about $70 million. And then the 5-year, the capital projects identified in the next 5 years are about $32.4 million for the Cannery system. Next slide. The financial plan for the Cannery segregation system is the explanation is similar to the municipal industrial. Each column are the expenses. We're anticipating that we identified that the canneries have built up a reserve level, so we wanted to incorporate that reserve level and have some cash funded spending initially, and then transition to debt financing if it's necessary. Our overall recommendation for the increases for the Cannery segregation line is 2.5% per year. A big reason why that's different from the municipal and industrial is because the operating portion of the canneries of the Cannery financial plan is smaller, and a lot of it is debt service, which is fixed. So there isn't as much of the inflationary pressure on the Cannery rates. Next slide, please. So the proposed rates, there is one, or the difference between the current rates and our recommended rates is that we're proposing that more of the cost be recovered from the strength constituents, BOD, and suspended solids. And the reason for this is that the identified capital projects are designed to deal with the solids. A lot of them are being able to push them around, distribute them around the ranch. The engineers can tell you more about that than me. But we're recommending that that the rates reflect the cost distribution and shift more costs to be recovered in that way. So the first year you'll see the the flow charge is going down, and then the BOD and TSS charge will be going up. Next slide, please. So this just shows an example of the average Cannery customer bill. Just one thing to note that there's very few customers in this group, and depending on their production in a given year, their individual bills may vary, but overall the target is to have the 2.5% increases. Next slide, please. And so the next steps in the study, after presenting the rate recommendations, would be to, if approved, mail out notices, and then have after the 45-day period, then hold a public hearing regarding the rates, and then if there is not a majority protest against the rates, then the council could choose to implement the rates, and we're recommending implementation on the 1st of July in 2022. And I'll turn it back over to Will. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation.
All right, thank you, Eric. So I'll bring it back down to our staff recommendation. So tonight we're asking council to approve the wastewater rate report, engineer's report prepared by Corolla engineers, also approving the sewer and rate fee study prepared by Bartle Wells, and then also authorizing staff to initiate the Prop 218 process to begin the rate setting process. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, questions from council members. Councilmember Wright.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Will, have you, what's the feedback been from the manufacturers council?
Thank you very much for the question, Councilman Wright. We've had several meetings with the Cannery segregation customers because they are a major employer and impact to our sewer rates, and they are pleased with the 2.5% rate increase. We did explain to them why the rate increases need to happen and the reasons why the 2.5%. We made some good investments in before, and we had made some previous assumptions that the canneries would be doing some projects which never came to fruition. So we credited them the revenue that we collected, and that's why the rates are actually below the municipal and industrial rates.
Okay, so they're I know they're not real happy, but it could be a lot worse for them.
Yeah,
Okay.
As a reference, we actually had 6% rate increases in the prior 5 years. So 2.5% versus 6% is a big drop.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Zalaki.
Along the same line, is a seg line complete now, the realignment portion?
The Cannery segregation line has been in operation since 1995. So we've actually made some improvements.
On the realignment next to the river?
Oh, no, not yet. So we will be presenting that next Tuesday, the awarding of the first phase of the river trunk project, which will allow us to redirect municipal and industrial flows to a area that's not along the river. And then after that project is done, then we're looking at repurposing the existing river trunk, rehabilitating that, and making it a redundant line so that we can serve all customers.
Okay. Well, that's good. That thing, a little redundancy is probably a good thing right along the river.
Absolutely.
Those are not good surprises. Also, when you look at the rate overall, and you had a slide that sort of showed the rates for residential and such, and it's, as it was described, we're kind of the middle of the pack, but on the leaner side of it.
Yes.
Yeah, on the leaner side. How do the other cities, or do you know how the other cities rate and where they are in the process? Because everybody does about the same thing. You know, they analyze it, they go a number of years and make the adjustments. Any idea where we fit in? Are we at the beginning or with the end compared to those around? Or was that even considered? It's not that important, just curiosity.
Yeah, so the picture that we showed is the comparison of Modesto compared to the other cities. As we all know, the regulatory environment does not go lower. It actually increases. So all cities are required to make improvements, and we'll see subsequent rate increases. So the graphic is actually a snapshot in time of where we're at compared to everyone else. as more agencies are required to improve their wastewater system, you can see their rates increase as well. We know plenty of cities who are looking to build tertiary treatment like Modesto has,
And
and
they don't have
those
it.
costs have gone really high because of the material costs and supply chain. So we're looking at, we're very fortunate that we were able to get funding for our tertiary plant, but you can continue to see that chart to grow.
I was going to say, we got that just 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago? The
tertiary
second,
plant,
the upgrade of the tertiary
we
plant?
actually completed that in 2012.
Was it 12?
Yeah.
But we
I was thinking,
completed,
when we did the,
Recycled water line?
the stuff going where we're selling it.
Oh, yeah, to Del Porto,
Okay,
yes,
so we had to increase our tertiary capacity, I thought.
No, that was over, we had built the tertiary treatment plant, and then with that recycled water that was produced, we were able to sell that to Del Porto Water District.
Okay, so it was already built in 12?
Yes.
Okay, I understood something different. Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Ricky?
Well, I think I already have the answer to this, but could you just explain in layman's terms why we have to continue to consistently raise water rates?
In this particular case, we're looking to raise wastewater rates. The reason is we have to, as enterprise, we have to recover the true cost of service. So unfortunately, as projects increase in cost as well as operations and maintenance, we need to make sure that we have the right funding in the enterprise in order to pay for those costs.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Wright had another question, apparently.
Yes, well, on our waste treatment project that we have out in Grayson area, or off of Grayson, that helps keep our sewer rates. The income we get off of the wastewater that we sell helps subsidize sewer rates, correct?
Yes, so the revenue that we earn from the sales of recycled water actually goes back into the wastewater fund. So instead of having to increase rates to recover, say, $500,000, we can actually reduce that because we are actually gaining $500,000 in revenue from the sale of recycled water.
So, and we have the capacity to add more wastewater from other municipalities if they wanted to hook up to our system, correct?
At this point, we do not, but we do have, the way we have designed our wastewater treatment plant is that it's modular. So we can add modules to it. So we are looking at exploring options to regionalize, and we are in discussions with some cities in terms of receiving their wastewater. So very preliminary, but it is an opportunity for the region to look at a regional wastewater plant.
And if that happens, that really benefits Modesto in our wastewater funds and what we charge.
Yes, it'll benefit Modesto and actually the partners that actually participate.
Right, great.
I have a question. On one slide, it was on the recommended M&I annual rate increases 3.5%. And it showed the one line of ending reserves in 22-23 dips down into operating expenses, just in that one little spot for fiscal year 22-23.
Yeah, so as
what does that mean in regards to our balancing our budget and enterprise funds and all of what you described?
I'm gonna try it. I'm not a financial guy, but I'll try.
Okay.
So if you notice there, we are actually funding quite a bit in our rate capital. So the gray line is what we're trying to increase. So as you can see, we are, as Eric mentioned, we are gonna be cash funding portions of our capital improvement program. So our reserves will dip a bit if we cash fund it, but then as you see in the subsequent years, we are recovered and we're in good
Yes,
shape.
I did notice that. So we feel secure in that. This year it looks like it's definitely okay, and then it's going to dip down for that bit, and then it will go back up in 23, 24, and looks good projected out for the next 5 years.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions from council members?
Yes.
Council member Ricky, no, do I have yours there? I'm not sure.
That's fine.
Okay, council member Zalaki.
Thank you. Just a couple more questions, Will. On the rates as it shows some of the other cities are significantly higher. There was some discussions. Is it not working again? How's that?
Very good.
I'll just get right in the mic. So on a regionalization There was discussions a number of years ago about trying to regionalize, since we had the ability to take flows, I'm talking about sewer, of course, and convert it into ag water. Some of the other cities, I know Ceres is connected within the Turlock branch that comes in. Has there been any opportunities to discuss with any of the other cities if they would be wanting to help join, and is there any efficiencies there that might make it improve their problems? Because
Yeah, very
it's not
good
getting better, it's getting worse,
Yeah.
you know.
Very good question. So it really is we have preliminarily reached out to other cities, and I, again, due to sensitivity, and I can't really talk about who I've talked to. However, there are opportunities for us to regionalize and take advantage of economies of scale, and also propose to get some of the cities out of the wastewater treatment business. So, of course, there's plenty of opportunities, but it has to pencil out for those cities.
Yeah. And as we're seeing more and more push towards cleaner water that's going back into the rivers, that is even becoming more and more incumbent upon the cities. They're going to have a good system, and that's not a cheap, from what I've read.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
Not a cheap operation. Let's see. One thing I had asked a number of times, I'd like to ask again, is in our water bill, since we are having money come back into it, it's not a lot now, but every year it's going to grow. And I forgot what year it is, 2050 or somewhere in there, when I'm probably long gone, all that water is going to be paid for. The operation is going to be paid for. There would probably be some new maintenance at that time, but not a significant portion now that the rest of it's been paid, that we show it on our water bill. I think it's important for the city to understand that we're not just spending money, we're making investments into the future. And if they can see on their bill they got a couple of bucks coming off the recycled water project, might make them cheerleaders for it to help encourage and understand what separates us from the other cities and the advantages and all the hard work that we're doing now. I don't know if there's been any runs on any kind of financial performance of what we've been able to do, and it can depend on how much effluent comes into our system. And during drought years, it's probably less than when it's a wet year. But just being able to analyze and show the public what their city is doing, we were the largest recycled water project in the nation. I don't know if we still are, but we were. And for Modesto, that's bragging rights. It'd be nice to be able to share that. So I'd like to have us consider that and get it on the bill. And also talk to the council. I've asked the last council and spoke about it a number of times. I think we should make it a policy and memorialize it with a vote of the people that all those monies came out of the sewer. Either they came from grants, the recycled water project, or they came from our users, the ratepayers. And they should be memorialized that when it's profitable, it stays with the sewer fund and helps keep it healthy and keeps our rates competitive. Good sewer funds means long-term viability for companies that want to utilize it. So I say that in this council.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you'll take a look at that. I know finance at the time said they didn't have the capacity to do it. We've had some upgrades since then, and I would think we can maybe now start showing our product and the good faith effort of the employees and our utilities department, what they've done, and taken a process to build us a future in that has sustainability. Anyway.
All right.
Throw it out there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Councilmember Madrigal, questions?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, just wanted to ask Will or probably Will about, I don't know, sometime in my first term, maybe 7, 8 years ago, I had been involved with discussions with staff about trying to eliminate our cost for removing the algae, I believe it's from the
Oh, Tony, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Because I believe the wastewater algae that we produce is high protein algae. And so long story short, we were talking about eliminating that cost, which back then was about $1 million a year, and actually turning it into a $1 million a year revenue stream by selling the algae to bioplastic manufacturers. Has that been explored at all again in any way?
Not since the initial analysis that was done, but also the water world in Modesto has changed. Since we're selling the recycled water, we don't have a lot of water in the ponds anymore. And in order for algae to grow, you need water. So at this point, we don't necessarily have a major algae issue because we just don't have the water. I will hate to brag, but this is a worry, but we do, well, we are over allocated in our effluent, which is an interesting problem to have. Since 10 years ago, no one really wanted recycled water, and now we can't keep all the water we have. So great problem to have, but unfortunately, we don't have the amount of algae that we had then before.
So does that mean that our cost has been wiped down to zero practically for removing the algae?
Yeah, we don't operate the equipment right now to remove the algae.
Great problem to have. Okay, thanks. That was it.
All right, thank you. Any comments from the public regarding this item? I don't see anyone in person or online. So any comments from council members?
I make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to
Second.
approve. This is to consider approving the wastewater engineers report prepared by Corolla Engineers Incorporated as complete, the sewer rate study update prepared by Bartle Wells Associates as complete, authorizing staff to initiate a Proposition 218 process to adjust the city's sewer rates beginning in fiscal year 2022-23 through fiscal year 2026-27 and forwarding to council for approval. And I have a motion from Council Member Wright and a second from Councilmember Zalaki. Will the city clerk please read or call the roll?
Councilmember Canoyer?
Yes.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton?
Aye.
Councilmember Madrigal?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Zawaki?
Aye.
Mayor Zalam?
Aye, so it carries unanimously. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And thank you for being here this evening and for your presentation, and thank you, Will. All right, are there any matters too late for the agenda? There are none. Seeing none, I will call this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.